This is TWiT.
We played. It's funny. We on iOS today. We were playing. We did a whole iOS today on what features in iOS 12 could you do right now on iOS 11 through third-party apps. And one of them, I've actually already deleted it because I don't want to ever play it again. But one of them was called Hero. What was it called? I can't remember. But we played it, and it had the problem, I think, that all AR apps are going to have when they're using the back camera. It's very hard. If you use the front camera, Apple's made that for augmented reality. It's got depth sensors. It's got the, the point scanning, the face scanning, all of those things that really help AR be accurate. None of that stuff is on the back.
Well, you've got the two lenses.
Do they use both lenses for
I do believe that they use both lenses for that. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And then the other thing is that you also, I have to admit, I probably have less, because I've been doing photogrammetry for 20 years, I have less problems with the AR than most people because I realize I naturally do certain things.
You know what
the
pitfalls are.
I naturally I move my camera a lot rather than, so when you rotate your camera like this, it's really hard for it to figure out what the 3D scene is. If you move your hand like this, what it's doing is it's looking at all these points, and then it says, it looks at the speed at which those points are moving. And that's how it figures out what the 3D is. And 3D tracking, 3D match moving has been doing that for, 20 years. And so that technology is not new. Now, the advantage that the phone has is that it has an accelerometer that is a cheat sheet. So I know where you are, I know where you're pointed, I know a bunch of things about that. So that cheat sheet.
Oh, the accelerometer.
Yeah, so it says, okay, I know that you're rotating, and then it makes it easier for it to get close, and then it uses the feature tracking, which again has been around in 2D for 25 years and 3D in the last 20 years, but it grabs onto that and is able to generate 3D what we would call a sparse cloud. So it's it just grabs a couple points.
So it has sufficient hardware to do a good job with it.
It has it, yeah. The laser's better. I mean, Tango
They're
is
showing with the iPad though, right, Lory? That's what they were playing that
absolutely.
slingshot game.
Yeah, it can definitely do it. It can do it with one lens. It can do it with two lenses. It can do it with those things. Tango, for instance, is still way better. Like
because it has all this hardware.
Because it has the laser. It has a laser, but it is now the problem with it is it lasts about 10 minutes before you run out of battery. But it's a much more accurate. It'll lock better than what you get with the iPhone. But that's a good example of Google doing the right way to do it. But
and then nobody bought it. Nobody supported it. So they
Google
went up and they did AR
Google didn't put it in their own phone.
Because it would have cost a lot more. And so Google watched ARKit, watched Apple's success with ARKit, and said, "Oh crap!" And they abandoned Tango and said, "All right, we got AR Core, which is basically Google's Android version of ARKit."
Yeah.
So Lory, did you get to play the slingshot game? I saw Renee playing it.
Renee played the screenshot game. I haven't had a chance to play it, but I saw some pictures. I get an idea, and here's where my anti-Apple comes in, if you will. Google's doing it right. So this is the new feature that's coming in iOS 12. You're going to be able to play an AR game with another person. So I'm on one side of a table, you're on another side of a table, and let's say it's ping pong. You can play ping pong in AR with the other person, and it uses this thing called anchors. So one iPhone is sort of the host of this game and sends this information off to the game and creates an anchor, and then that information is sent to the other person's phone, which then becomes the receiver of that information and the receiver of the anchor. So they're tied together. So it makes it so that two iPhones can play this game in the same room together, as if they were playing a console game or something like that. Where Google is, both Google and Apple have similar processes. Where Google is doing it right is that they made this cross-device. You can do the same thing on an iPhone. You can do the same thing on an Android phone. And Apple has shut this down to only on iPhones. I think that's a big mistake. I think being able to play cross-platform with Android and iOS is brilliant. And it bums me out that Apple decided to keep this localized on iOS only. And I know, I understand all security issues and things like that, but we can already do it with games that are developed from Google. Actually, Google has an app right now whose name escapes me right now, but it's a handwriting game where you write
in the air.
Yeah. And you can use that on your iPhone and you can use that on an Android phone. So Apple didn't lock Google out from being able to do this on iPhones. So they are saying, we think it's cool, go ahead and do it. But in the reverse, Apple didn't do the same thing. They're not making it so that Google phones, that Android phones have access to ARKit or ARKit games. I think that's a mistake.